Hello everyone, Kenji Tiger here with Bengali Engineering and Play. We are back in Space Engineers. We're continuing on in our project to build a build and repair system shipyard. So as you're seeing on your screen, this one is quite a bit different than the one that we left off in. The reason for that is I was trying to do a little bit of work off screen, and to say I totally hosed it up is just not an understatement at all. It was just totally messed up. So what I went ahead and did also off screen was kind of correct myself, get myself to the point where we can conceivably continue on. Okay, so that's what I did. So what do I have here? So I'm using mirroring. Let me show you where I got mirroring. So we are split in half and half end to end. So side to side and end to end. Those are the two mirroring. So basically I can build each corner once and we will end up with stuff at both ends. So that might be a good thing or a bad thing. Actually, I'm seeing some issues on the far side over here, so let me run over there and make sure I don't have anything too messed up over here. Okay, I'm not seeing... Well, yeah, I am seeing some. Not much. This here. Alright, so I only actually see a couple where things are messed up. Alright, so we kind of have these tunnels down the side. Now I haven't decided whether we're gonna, attempt to armor any of that or not. Where did I see this one here? Okay, and it was really just that one. Alright, so what I tried to do here, so now some of the other Space Engineers streamers have called this greebling, and I don't know if that's a real word. I've tried to look it up a couple times, including the Urban Dictionary, and I can't find the word, but effectively greebling is really to just make a basic thing. So you take like a chassis and then you put blocks on it to make it look better, so aesthetically. Obviously when we get into pure structural engineering, Space Engineers doesn't do that well. Physics being what it is in this game is kind of wonky sometimes. The way force is applied, whether it be a moment arm or direct force, is always kind of strange. So anyway, what do we have? So I tried to angle this from the out in. So you see this bottom one here, how it's angled from the bottom up. So my concept here, and this goes all the way around the outside here, my concept is, let me see, I'm just traveling a little too fast and want to end up in there, so it kind of squeaks you in. So that was the whole idea there. The outside, of course, is reversed to that to keep the corners where they are. So we have this aisleway all the way down the length, which is actually a little bit better than 3x3, but it is effectively 3x3. I don't know what we're going to do down here. Obviously we could do an awful lot of stuff down here. I was thinking maybe I would put like oxygen tanks and that sort of thing down there. Now tanks and gas storage, of course, don't work in Space Engineers how they would work in real life. So obviously, if there was a high pressure tank and we had an empty tank, then if we connected those two tanks together, they would equalize in pressure in the end. So Space Engineers doesn't really do that. Tanks fill and then they will only be reduced as the materials are directly used out of them. So the concept of having a very large, like a hydrogen barge or something like that, really doesn't work, because if you hook up a ship to it, it won't actually equalize pressures. It doesn't fill the ship. I wish it did. That would be actually really, really cool. That you would just instantly connect on and whoop, it would just go right in there. That would be really cool. But it doesn't. So if you have oxygen generators or gas generators, as I tend to call them, because they're generating gases, not just oxygen, then those have to kick in, and those will help to refill the ship. So not exactly ideal to what we really wanted, but as they say, it is what it is. All right. So one of the things I wanted to do here, let me try and find the center again. Okay, the center is right here. So I want to start in this center. And originally I was, how many reactors does one really need to power things? Now, this is all really dependent upon, well, how many batteries you have, and how much power you're actually using. So these, I'm not really sure how much these build and repair systems actually use. I think it might have said on the website. So let's go there for just a moment. Sorry, having trouble with my. All right. Build and better stone. LCDs. Nanobot build and repair. Okay, so let me drag this onto the screen so everybody can see it. And we'll get it a little bigger. So here we go. So this is the build and repair system. Auto repair and build system. Ooh, I said that all backwards. Oops. Sorry about that. Oh, wait a minute. Build and repair. Auto repair and build. Okay, so I didn't say it backwards. This is the title. Build and repair. So I did get it right. So as you can see, a whole lot of subscribers there, that must say, and then this tells a little bit about what these are. So it tells you what all these different things are, and tells you about the janitor functions. So it tells you what the color coding is. I was hoping it would say, there we go. Okay. Power usage. Changeable via settings. 20 watts in standby. Not too bad. 2 kilowatts if welder is working, or 1.5 if grinder is working. So 2 kilowatts per unit. 10 kilowatts in fly mode. Okay, Okay, so it uses 2 kilowatts or 10 kilowatts in fly mode for each one. So I gotta pull out my calculator. So there are 160 systems times 10 kilowatts. So 10 kilowatts times 160 is 1600 kilowatts, which means 1.6 gigawatts, right? I think 1600 kilowatts. So maybe that is just 1 meg kilowatts. 1,000. Yeah, I guess that is 1.6 megawatts. So if that's the case, then one large reactor would be plenty. Not sure if that's reality there or not. Okay. All right. So sorry, I'm starving to death, so I'm eating. Forgive me. Move this off the screen. Back to where it was. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do 0, 8. So I do need medical room, and then I have batteries, and one of the things I'm going to have to do off screen because I screwed up, I have converted, okay, one of the things that happened was by the time I screwed this thing up so bad, I actually had to bring in from, let me just show you. So I have parts. So I created these parts originally, and I started strapping them together to actually come up with the things that I needed. Until I came up with this full section, and then I started copying the full sections. Now, what happened is by the time I was all done with this, I had this thing so completely screwed up that I really needed to just start over. So I went back to this because this is my over. The problem with this one is this one was designed with a couple of Kenti blocks still being on there, which I did not want. So my idea is that by the time this thing is done, that it will be as close to vanilla as it possibly can be. At this point, there are only 2 blocks that are non-vanilla. Okay, and that's the scaffolding, which I use in a lot of my builds, and of course the Nanobot build and repair system. That's the only thing, because obviously this is what this shipyard is about, is the build and repair system. So there will be 2 mods that hopefully a lot of people will already be using to make this happen. So anyway. So what do we want to do here? We want to bring in, those are the Uncle Steve's blocks. So we want a large cargo container. We want large reactor. We're going to need cryopods eventually. I will do assemblers and refineries later. Well, yeah, we'll do those later, because I don't know that there's room to do that. Okay, let's go ahead and try. Here's refinery, and the refineries are going to have yield modules. The assemblers are going to have speed modules. What else do we need? Spotlights. So, spotlights. Spotlights are always good things to have. The problem is the range of spotlights is not always enough to make it matter here. So here's what I think we shall do. Let us go ahead and put spotlight there. Should we skip every other one? I'm not sure if it will matter. So the one thing that I have to change, which I'm actually going to do, see here, Kenti batteries. So definitely messed up that aspect, but I will eventually be able to change that, and I'm going to do that off screen. So battery, how about batteries, and off, build and repair system. And to carry on with the lunacy, we'll do that redundancy thing there. So, and we're going to take those off the toolbar and off the terminal. Alright, and then we have a bunch of spotlights. I'm going to change that to spotlight number 1. And these are not actually spotlights, these are floodlights. Now they're set to 120 meters. I'm going to go ahead and increase that out to 160 meters because I think that's appropriate. And we're going to do these at 2.5. Let's do 2. Nice and bright. Okay, and that was indeed the intention, to have pretty much daylight inside of our yards, which is good. All right. Let's do. I'm going to go ahead and. Oh, darn it! Spotlights. Let's do floodlights. That does not need to be on the toolbar or the terminal. Empty battery. Batteries K. Alright, so clean things up quite a bit there, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, so it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see that the build and repair systems actually have a fully integrated conveyor system. They're fully meshed, which is really to say in rings they are fully intermeshed, and then along, along the sides, the top and the bottom, there is an interconnector. So around the entire ring, sorry if I'm making you dizzy, is connected, and then we have these lateral connectors side to side. Why did I not connect laterally up here? Because there's batteries there. So that was one of those things. All right. So I guess we need to start putting in cargo and power. 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the center. Closer. So what I'm going to do is put okay, these cargo containers. Now, whether you put the chassis sideways, sorry, there. Oops, I want it that way or that way. Yeah. Turn the keypad right side up. So whether the chassis are end-to-end or sideways, I don't know if that really matters. So here's the chassis end-to-end, and here's the chassis sideways. So I don't really know if that matters. It's kind of one of those things, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and put those cargo containers. So that's the first 4, because you see I'm mirroring on the other side, so I only have to build these once. And then I want to put reactors in here. Why am I putting reactors in behind? Well, the biggest reason is because out of everything that I would like to protect, these reactors really are it. Now, the question is, do I go sideways like this and have everything connected in sideways, or do I put them top and bottom? Do I go out the bottom? I think we'll do that. Okay, so that is 4 reactors, which I think actually is going to be plenty. But maybe we'll go ahead and do 4 more. Just cause. And we're going to put those behind as well. Okay, so we have container, container, and let's go ahead and put container, container. So there's a container, and there's a container. So now we have 12 containers, and I'm not sure if 12 containers is going to be enough or whether we need more. I really truly have no idea. So the question is, do we want to do 2 more sets of containers out here? Can we have too many containers? The other side of this equation is there anything sacred about, okay, so these are my centers. So here's a test. These are 2 more containers. So let me go ahead and place those. Those are right now up against the others. Now, here's what I don't want, is for these to be exposed over and above, and they slightly are. So I don't know if I like that or not. They're not bad, but I don't know if I like it. I would really hate for something to come, swing in, and hit these. I think I'm going to leave them, because I like having containers. I like lots of containers. All right, so here is a container and a container, and over here, okay, already put. Okay, so we have 12 containers on each side, 24 containers total, and 8 reactors, which I think is going to be plenty. So, the next quandary is how to hook these in. So here's what I'm going to do. Get right up here. So I'm going to put, let me get back on the right screen here, I'm going to put this thing here. In fact, I'm going to wait to put that thing there. And here's why. So, I'm going to nuke that, going to nuke that, and nuke that. I'm going to do that, and that. And then we will put a conveyor right there. What has that done for us? So that connects in the reactor. And then I tend to go totally overkill. After all, I am an engineer that works for the Navy. So I like redundancy. So multiple connection paths in and out, right? All right. Let's do the same thing here. So we are going to nuke that piece, nuke that piece, and nuke that piece, and connect, connect, and then put a conveyor junction there. All right, I can get out of here. We should now have reactor connected in, reactor connected in, and then those 2 reactors also should have connected in by way of mirroring. Alright, and I talked about redundancy. So here's redundancy. There she be. And then we do that on this side and do it again on the other side, and then my redundancy thing will be satisfied. There's that one. And that one. Alright. Not bad, not bad. Alright, now, the next thing that we kind of need is refineries. I'm going to do 8 refineries. Here's where I'm going with this. I want 2 on this end and 2 on the other end, which is going to mirror to the opposite side. So 2 plus 2 plus 4 on the other side makes 8, right? Okay. So here's what I'm going to do, and this is going to look a little bit silly, but there's a reason for this. See, what I want to do is see if I can put in a pretty decent sized chain of assemblers. Alright, so let me get over here, my refinery. So, here's my refinery, facing up. I'm actually going to reverse it and put it here. Now, the downside is that that is going to go in the wrong direction. So, let's turn it around. And now that should be going in the correct direction. Now, could I connect this directly up? Yes, absolutely, I could. Alright, so, it's not going to let me do that. But that's okay, because here's what we're going to do. So, yield modules. Yield module. Okay. I want refineries. So, yield module, yield module, yield module, yield module. 1, 2. Why am I putting a gap? Flexibility. Because having the gap in there will actually let me connect if I need to at a later time. Alright, let's go back to our connection points. There we are. Alright, go back to our refinery, which is number 1. I need to flip this over so it becomes a refinery, and then I need to make sure I have it in the right place. Can't see a darn thing. Alright, I need to flip end to end. Okay, so my port is at the bottom left hand, which is exactly where I want it. So this should connect in, which it did. Alright, so refinery, I've got all the yield modules, and then we're going to do another refinery right here, facing the exact same direction. We're going to, for right now, just put a conveyor there. part of me that wants to change this up a little bit. The reason why I want to change that up a little bit is because I could go straight in. Alright, let me see. I can fit these in here. Assembler. We're going to do a couple of little crazy things when it comes to this one. And here's why. I'm going to go to this bar. So right now that is 5 assemblers, 6, 7, 8 assemblers. And 9 and 10 would be too much. Alright, we'll stop with 9. So the question is how to keep these connected. The only way to do that, alright, I'm going to change my assembler or my refinery scheme here as a yield module. Yield module goes there. Getting rid of that, getting rid of that, and getting rid of the yield module on the end. There really is a method to the madness. Okay, so I originally wanted those connected in the middle, and I guess it really doesn't matter because there's connection points there anyway. So that's connected. Now, why did I do that? Because of this. This is a problem. I have to look up here structurally and see what this is actually doing. Alright, I do have enough structure on the outside of that. Yeah, we're alright. Alright, but I'm going to change things here. 6. I'm going to put a block there and a block there. And I have to get rid of that block and that block. Alright. Three, 4. Here's what we're doing here. So this goes like this, and then like this.